so our viewers know what's going on.
Only thing is I'm realizing that this doesn't have anything on it.
Okay, and good afternoon. We just want to bring you an update as to what's going on with the storm here. Chief Meteorologist Kurt Aaron, Jeremy Lewan joining me here, and there's a lot of phases and aspects to this storm that we want to cover.
And it's coming into clear focus as it pushes into central and northeastern Pennsylvania now. We're starting to see some changes with the storm that might end up lowering some of our snow totals in some of our regions.
Yeah, not so much lowering our snow totals, but talking about the lower end of what it was we were forecasting.
Right. So we forecasted a range of totals, and we had initially anticipated that it would be between one total and another, and we still do believe it will fall between that total and the other one, but we think it'll be on the lower end.
Absolutely, and there's a couple of reasons for that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to jump to the boards and show you what I'm talking about here. And there it is. There's the storm system. And if we look at that storm system, we're going to be talking, again, a couple more hours of some heavy snow. But once we get beyond that, then we're going to see a dry slot. To see what I'm talking about here, you got to look out west. And Jeremy, we were talking yesterday about the possibility of this shutting down here as we got into closer to midnight.
Right.
Right. So what we're seeing right now is that dry slot, that red arrow that you see right there. That's the dry slot that's trying to work in. And if it in fact does work in, then that's going to help shut down some of those snowfall totals out here in central Pennsylvania, where we have 3 to 6.
Right.
Right. And as Jeremy was pointing out, we may be on the lower end of that scale, 3-4 inches of snow. You can see the dry slot out here, Woodward, Altoona. It's already starting to shut some of that snow down. So eastern Pennsylvania, this is going to be a lot longer. This isn't something that is going to shut down here in the next hour or two. We're going to see this snow for a while.
And we're actually right now in the heaviest bouts of snow, and we're going to continue to see those heavy bouts of snow as we go through the next few hours in eastern Pennsylvania.
Correct. And what he's talking about are these darker blue bands here. And for a time, Jeremy, the models were indicating 1 to 2 inches an hour.
Right.
Right. But they're underperforming.
They
the
are.
Storm is
and
underperforming.
That was the first thing you said to me when you came into the weather office. You said, Jeremy, the storm's underperforming.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that it's not going to fall within our 2 total values that we had originally anticipated.
Correct. But it's also still slick on the roads. I drove in here. I got here about 4:30, and the roads, even though there's only an inch of snow on the ground, the roads are really slushy and slippery.
Right.
So people really want to be careful.
And there are accidents out there. So if you have anything that you have to do, if you could, postpone it till tomorrow when the streets will be plowed. Tonight is going to be really rough going for any travel that you plan on doing across the region. And in some of our southern tier, we might see slick spots of ice and slush as we do see some of the rain snow line pushing into those regions right now, actually.
Here's that mix line that we talked about yesterday. That is marching to the north exactly like what we talked about. But what's not showing up here, it looks like it's all blue. Look at left, just west of Tower City.
Right.
You can see the mixing here. And we're also seeing, I want to show you a live view from our Pottsville camera. There's Williamsport right now. That's still all snow. And they have a healthy dose of snow out there, several inches. But if we look at Pottsville, this is where we're starting to see a mix trying to work in. Even though it's all blue on the radar right now, we're gradually going to see, this is where we're going to see, I think, changing out to that mix as we head into the evening hours. And then let's do a close-up here if we can. And this is the radar image, and again, it's all blue out here in central Pennsylvania we just showed you, but that mixed line marching north, and we're already seeing it just west of Schuylkill County as we head into there. So the National Weather Service has us under a winter storm warning, and you want to be careful. The best thing to do if you don't have to travel tonight, please don't travel. You're better off to just, stay off the roads. But I want to show you this, and this is something that we talked about last night, and Jeremy, I'm glad that you pointed this out, is the fact that that rain mix line,
which is actually pretty thick in this specific graph model, right?
Correct.
We're talking about the NAM here.
Yep.
And this indicates that we have not just a very thin pink line, but a wide expanse experiencing a mix of snow, rain, and even some sleet as well. So that's going to definitely dampen totals. And some of these models, like this NAM model here, is indicating not just a mix, but also a complete switch over to heavy rain, which would really take away a lot of the snow in some of those regions. So if you show that one version A little bit right there, exactly. So you can see there in Sunbury, Lewisburg, just even towards Bloomsburg as well. Some heavy downpours that may cause a switch from that snow to a quick sleet and then to a heavy rain, which would end up decreasing our snow totals in some of our regions, specifically there in our southern tier, and maybe even working its way there into Northumberland, Union, Snyder, Montour, and Columbia counties.
And the other thing I want to mention too, looking out west.
Right.
That's
Snow
that
shutting
dry-
off.
That's that dry slot that we talked about. That dry slot works in here. They were suggesting, models suggesting maybe 9, 10 o'clock. I could see it shutting down in central Pennsylvania. It may even arrive as early as that over parts of the Wyoming Valley. So it's going to be snowing. But I want to show you this. And what Jeremy was talking about was for tomorrow morning. Now, I personally think the NAM is a little overdone here for the snow that it's showing. But certainly another inch or two could be possible Sunday morning. So we're not out of the woods once the snow shuts off at midnight.
At midnight, yes. The heaviest bouts of snow will shut off at midnight, but we still have residual lingering snow showers and even flurries as we go through the morning hours on Sunday. We do think they will be isolated and not as widespread as what we're seeing right now, but there is the possibility of an additional accumulation of an inch or so tomorrow morning between, I would say, 4 a.m. and 11 a.m. is when you'll see the brunt of those additional snow showers. And some of the, not just one of the models, the NAM we just showed, right?
Right.
But all the models are in agreement that we will have some sort of residual snow shower tomorrow morning.
Correct.
Whether or not everyone will see it, we're not so sure yet.
And people are going to be traveling to church and those types of things, so the roads are going to be slick. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
But you can see now we're back. We're no longer on Future Radar, NAM, or any of the other models. This is just regular radar, and you can see that dry slot beginning to move into central Pennsylvania. That's going to help shut things down over the next couple of hours in the Williamsport area. But as I mentioned before, the snow started to our southwest, gradually worked northeast, so they have a little more snow out in central Pennsylvania than what we have. So I think they're going to get closer to that 3 to 6 that we had talked about. And the National Weather Service still has that severe, let me go to the Williamsport, severe winter storm warning. And there's a live view of Lycoming County, Cam. There in Williamsport, looks like they got some trouble right there, Jeremy.
Yep, yeah.
Looks like maybe some emergency vehicles out there. So, all right, I want to show you this, and that is snowfall totals. Here's our map. We've been talking about it since Thursday.
Yep, and we've been pretty consistent with it, and we haven't made many changes to this map.
No, we did extend the 4 to 8 out just a little bit over the Williamsport area where we had it 3 to 6, but that's it. We're still expecting the highest snowfall totals over Mount Pocono, especially northern Monroe County into Pike County, Wayne County. And we can't forget maybe that hook in eastern Susquehanna County. And you were looking at some of the model data earlier on that area right there.
Right, and now it's becoming more clear that there's a general consensus among the models that we will see that 5 to 10 inch range extending into that eastern portion of Susquehanna County and dropping off pretty substantially once you get to western Susquehanna County. So there's a really sharp gradient, not just in Susquehanna County, but down through Carbon and Monroe as well, because of the fact that we'll see that rain snow line inching its way ever so slightly into those counties. So you'll see a really strong decrease in the snow totals in those regions because some of them will see a switch to rain and some of them will just see snow the entire time. So where that actually sets up, we're expecting it to be right pretty much through the center of Carbon and Monroe counties, which is where we'll see that drop off because of the rain snow line.
And I'm liking our numbers here. I think we may end up on the lower end of it rather than the higher end, which is fine with me. I know you're a snow lover.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so, but we may end up on the lower end of our 4 to 8 there for the Wyoming and Susquehanna valleys. I do think the 3 to 6 out in Renova, Lock Haven, Jersey Shore, those numbers look pretty good. And
especially since we see that dry slot coming in on radar.
Correct. So why don't we just recap then, Jeremy?
Yep, so here's our recap. The snow is here. It's been here for the past few hours. It's already falling and it's ramping up right now. We're seeing the heaviest bouts of snowfall as we go through the next few hours through the evening. But because of that dry slot, it's starting to decrease in intensity in central Pennsylvania. Eastern Pennsylvania will continue to see those heavy snow downpours, not necessarily 1 to 2 inches an hour, but maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 3/4 of an inch an hour snowfall rates.
One thing I want to say, when I first came in at 4:30, the first thing I did was I went out and measured the snow because, as we talked about, the models already had us at about 2.5 to 3 inches of snow by 5 o'clock.
Right, which is right after sunset or so.
Correct.
So we expected 2.5 to 3 inches by sunset. And what did you find when you went out the back yard?
9/10 of an inch, so
Exactly.
not even a full inch. Now we are beyond an inch, but that's our point. Is that I think we're going to fall in that 4 to 8 scale, but
Just
if
at the
it
lower
stays on
end.
this course, yes.
Yep. So our totals, we're talking 4 to 8 inches for central Pennsylvania from Williamsport out to the east. If you're anywhere west of Williamsport, we're talking 3 to 6. Eastern Pennsylvania, we're talking the Susquehanna Valley, the Wyoming Valley, up through the Lackawanna River Valley. That's including the valley cities, anywhere from 4 to 8 inches, but we're really looking specifically in the valley cities at that lower end of the range because we could see some mixing up through the valley cities as well. The Poconos is where we'll see the highest totals, which is what we've been saying all along, anywhere from 5 to 10 inches plus, and we're specifically looking at that Wayne County area, also down through northern Monroe County, where the highest elevations of the Poconos are. That's where we're really going to squeeze a lot of the moisture out, right, of these clouds. The heaviest snow will end around midnight, but don't let that fool you. Tomorrow morning, if you are headed out to church or any other errands you plan on running after the snow you think might be over, there are some additional snow showers on Sunday morning. They won't end up causing a significant amount of accumulation, but enough that you should be taking caution if you're going out.
Correct. So, and the other component to this that we have not covered, because everybody wants to know snow totals, and I get it. I've been doing this a long time, so I'm well aware snow totals are the big thing. But
and Kurt's wonderful advice and guidance has been instrumental in this storm. For my first ever winter snowstorm forecasting with WNEP.
Yes, well, you're doing a great job, Jeremy. And
thanks, Kurt.
But the other aspect of this is winds.
Right, and these have been actually predicted to gust up to 20 miles per hour, even 25 miles per hour. These are sustained winds, ones that we're showing you right now. So we're talking maybe by 6, 7 o'clock, we're looking at 15 to 17 mile per hour wind gusts. And if you're outside in the snow and you're driving in it, those winds are just going to cause the flakes to whip. And I'm looking outside. Kurt and I are both looking outside of the backyard right now, and those snowflakes aren't falling gently like they were earlier. We're already starting to see wind gusts. Our flag is flapping in the backyard, and we could see anywhere from 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts as we go through the evening hours towards midnight. Because we see these snow showers pushing through, it's bringing in pretty strong winds from the east, and then they'll take a dip from the northwest as we go through the day tomorrow. So that'll usher in some cooler air for tomorrow than what we're seeing right now.
And especially if you live on the hilltops, if you're above 1,300 feet above sea level, you're going to be looking at peak wind gusts over 30 miles an hour.
Right.
The reason I say that, I'm at 1,500 feet where my house is.
Right.
Okay. And I've already had a peak wind gust at my house this afternoon before I came in at 4 o'clock, and that was at 28 miles an hour.
Wow.
And so, we're going to see those winds.
Definitely.
Sure. Yes.
And we're already seeing them, as Kurt had already said, 28 mile per hour winds there in Clark Summit. So you're going to continue to see higher winds than that on our hilltops. All right, here I want to point out also, we have another system on Tuesday. Now this one is completely different from the one we're dealing with tonight, and that's because we'll start off as some snow, but we talked about a lot about that rain-snow line. Well, here, the rain-snow line isn't going to be the problem. It's going to be the heavy rain that pushes in Tuesday evening through the entire overnight. Many of the model runs indicating that we'll have moderate to even heavy downpours Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, very early Wednesday morning. And this is really what's worrying us as meteorologists, because we have 4 up to 8 inches of snow on the ground from this storm tonight, right, Kurt? But on top of that, when we have this snow melting, because we have temperatures on Wednesday going up to 48 degrees, then we have another 2, maybe 3 inches of rain from this storm dropping at once. Maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain, possibly as many as 3. And in addition to that, we have wind gusts as much as 40 to even 45 miles per hour. So as meteorologists, we're truly worried about the storm on Tuesday into Wednesday, because we could see some isolated flooding with the snow melt on top of the rain. And then in addition to that, we could see some power outages with the wind gusts toppling possibly some trees into power lines. So we want to make sure you're aware of the fact that there is a storm that we're watching Tuesday night into Wednesday morning that could bring us some difficulties as far as travel and power.
We talked about this earlier today when we were looking. This second system is actually a much stronger system. When I was looking at some data this morning, getting ready to come in here, this system, the center, may drop below 980 millibars.
And for those of you who aren't meteorologists, explaining what millibars are, it's a measure of the central pressure of a storm. And the lower that millibar number is, the stronger the intensity of the storm is.
And can create stronger winds at the surface, so that would impact us. And if that's the case, as Jeremy just mentioned, we could be looking at some significant wind gusts out of this storm.
So we're going to jump ahead to those wind gusts. I just wanted to point out, the storm doesn't wrap up after it's done on Wednesday morning. We still do see residual flurries, residual snow showers, residual possible rain showers too. Those could be a little bit more than just some sprinkles on Wednesday through the day, but the significant rain is going to fall through the overnight hours Tuesday into Wednesday. All right, let's take a look at those winds. That's We're also hearing something else in our ear. So
We're
want
going
to point
wrap
out,
up because
yes.
we do have a newscast in 9 minutes. So.
Pointing out these wind speeds, these are sustained winds. So we could see 20 to 25 mile per hour sustained winds Tuesday night into Wednesday, and those gusts could be up to 40, even 45 miles per hour. So with the additional snow still on the ground, the rain on top of it, and also the winds, we don't want anyone trying to go out on Tuesday night into Wednesday.
Right, we just want to reiterate, this is for Tuesday night, Wednesday, but let's go back to the snowfall totals for this storm that we're dealing with tonight. And again, this is our range. I think the Wyoming Susquehanna Valley is looking at 4 to 8. I do think, based on the data we're seeing coming in this evening, that we may be on the lower end of that scale. 4, maybe 5 inches of snow in the valley cities. I still think the highest numbers, as we talked about, Jeremy,
Right.
will be over the Poconos, and then lighter amounts as we get out to central Pennsylvania. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. It's an active weather pattern. I know we covered a lot here just now with not only this storm, but the storm coming up Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what we didn't even mention?
The one next weekend?
Next weekend, there's another storm.
We have just
Saturday,
such an
Sunday.
active pattern. This is such a change from what we've experienced all of December. December, we had nothing but warm temperatures and dry spells. But this is a definite difference for 2024. And as we go through January, we're going to continue to track these storms with
Absolutely.
a very close eye.
And thank you for watching. I know we have football on WNEP. We're going to be on WNEP2 at 6 and 7, so hopefully you can join us. If not, we're going to do another one of these updates at 7 o'clock because we're going to have new model data coming in. So thank you for joining us. Stay safe out there and enjoy.
Yes, we'll see you.